Hi, I'm Eve Fisher, and I'm a real estate agent in San Francisco. Today I'm talking about one of the most frustrating aspects of the home buying search process in San Francisco and the Bay Area as a whole, and that is list prices. Now, in some markets, if it's a really competitive situation, you'll pay $20,000 over, $30,000 over. In San Francisco, last month, someone paid $655,000 over asking. Now, is this a symptom of tech money? Is this a symptom of crazy cash buyers? No, this is what's done. List prices are most often teaser prices. They're a very, very low number that the seller would never take that gets people in the door. Now, before I talk about strategy, I just want to give you some numbers. So for the month of March, not yet concluded, but for the month of March so far, there were 153 homes sold for an average of 17% over list. I'll give you an example. 1640 Florida, which I mentioned before, was listed for $1,595,000 and it sold for $2,350,000. That is 47% over asking and $655,000 over asking. Now for condos, that number for the month of March was 11% over. In Haight-Ashbury, 265 Central was listed at $1,050,000 and sold for $1,575,000, 50% over. In the Sunset, it tends to be particularly egregious. You will see countless homes listed at a list price of $995,000, $1,095,000, $1,195,000. Well, two of those homes that were listed at $1,295,000 sold for $2.2 million, which is 70% over. That was 1860 22nd Avenue and 1450 43rd Avenue, in case you want to check my math. Now, the reason that we have these list prices is frankly because it works. Listing agents and sellers have learned that if they put a really low list price, they will get more people in the door, they'll get more interest, and that will lead to more offers and a higher sales price. Of course, buyers are frustrated about it, but we've also been trained, buyers, agents, buyers. So if we see a property that's, say, 1,600 square feet, all the other homes have sold around 1.7, 1.8, and this is listed for 1.8, we don't think, oh, there's a transparently listed home. We think, oh, they want 2.3. That is unrealistic. And then that home ends up sitting on the market for 30, 60 days, which is doesn't seem like a long time, but it's an eternity for the San Francisco market. People eventually think something's wrong with the home, and invariably what I see happening is that it's taken off the market. 3 or 4 months later, it comes back on the market, listed at $1,600,000, with a goal, of course, of getting it up to 2.2. And there are times when, of course, the listing agent thinks that they've accurately priced the home, that they've recommended a price that the seller would take. And there are times where that price just simply runs away. As I tell my clients, it only takes one buyer. You can have a buyer whose best friend lives next door, or their child's school is just across the street and they love the location. Their grandma grew up in the house. And for them, it's a really emotional purchase where the value might not play as much of a role. Cash buyers also don't need to have an appraisal. So for them, it's less salient what the square footage of the home is, or price per square footage of the home is, that it will appraise at that sale price. So that is really the strategy, and that's how the strategy has led to this. There are some agents who will counsel their sellers to list it at a transparent price. That can sometimes be during the pre-marketing period that they'll do that. So that can be an option. But normally, listing at the transparent price has not proved to be a successful strategy for sellers in this market. So that's where the buyer's agent comes in. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think this is a really important role. You could comb through Redfin and Zillow, try to find comparable sales to find out what that actual list price is. compared to the sales price, what you think you should offer, but I can do it in about 5 seconds with the MLS, the multiple listing service. So let's say you tell me that you like a home, 123 Main Street. You say, is this an accurate price? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check the agent notes, because the agent notes, which aren't accessible to the public, will have some of the dirty details, such as, is the property inhabited by long-term tenants? Is there major work that needs to be done? And other details that aren't readily apparent in the public listing. I also like to call the listing agent and see how much information they will tell me about their client's expectations on price. Sometimes they tell me to buzz off and do my homework and look at comps, and sometimes they give me a really good idea of what their client is looking for in terms of price, as well as let me know the properties that they use as comparable sales to inform their clients. So it's really helpful that I can provide my clients with a price check. They can tell me that they love the look of the home. I can look at comps, speak to the agent, and tell them, yes, I think that this would potentially be within your budget. No, I don't think that this would be fitting with your budget. One way I do that is by limiting the square footage on the search for my client. For example, in San Francisco, homes very rarely go for significantly below $1,000 a square foot. So what I can do is, if a client has a hard budget cap at $1,500,000, I put in a square footage cap of 1,500. That way we're filtering out the large homes that are expecting to have a significant bounce in the eventual sales price. That saves you time. It saves you emotional labor. You don't have to go see a home that's not in your budget. Of course, I am sometimes wrong, but in San Francisco, I usually err on the side of thinking a home is going to go lower than it actually does. After all, it just takes one buyer to fall in love with the house, perhaps a cash buyer that doesn't care about the appraisal value, perhaps someone whose grandmother grew up in the home, perhaps someone whose kid's school is across the street. So it just takes one to take that price into the stratosphere. I really hope this was helpful for people. I know this is a really frustrating aspect of the process. It feels like magic, totally unknowable, but that's where your agent can come in handy. My name is Eve Fisher. I'm a real estate agent in San Francisco. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. You can text me at 415-535-0019 or call me. You can subscribe, you can like my videos, and if you have something nice to say, you can leave me a comment. Thank you all and have a great day.